Mansfield today. Okay, gang, time to get into the kitchen. Courtesy of our mates at Russell Hobbs. And of course, representing Russell Hobbs is our very own chef, MLK, Martin Cobalt. Hello, Mart. How are you doing?
How's it? How's it, Jeremy? How's the team? How are we doing
Yeah,
today?
team's all well. Team's all well. Thank you. And trust that everything in Austria is well as well.
Yeah,
Good,
100%.
good one. Just in time to say hello to you and start cooking, and my hiccups come back. Can you believe? Can you believe it?
Yeah, I'm just going to say, you, hiccups are cool. Nice. I've got the right recipe for it, but you got to have to stand on your head.
Oh, no,
Can
no,
we
no,
do
no, no,
that?
no. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
Can
peanut
you?
butter. You take a spoon of peanut butter and you stand on your head, and the hiccup will be gone.
How can you make? Okay, that's a good. Can you make peanut butter?
Yeah, I can. Absolutely. And a Russell Hobbs
Yeah.
blender. You're going to make a homemade nutty butter with
Oh, that
peanuts
sounds
and all
stunning.
sorts of other roasted almonds. I'd like it with almonds. I'm not a big
Right.
fan well, I'm a big fan of peanuts if they're salted next to my wine glass. They're beautiful. But I like with the making it nutted butter, I like it. I like to use almonds because
Okay,
that's just it's just a little bit different, and I think in the flavor there's a little bit different. But of
but I
course, one
mean,
can do it with any types of nuts.
but I mean, the one thing about nuts, and I've found with blenders, is that they almost get choked up in the blender itself.
No, it's just the way you do it. You have to. It's no, they're not really. You need number one. You need to have a good blender, and that's why we're
Okay,
talking about Russell Hobbs. So you need to have the
okay,
proper speed. You need to have the proper knives inside there, and the way you do it is, of course, very important as well.
okay. But now
So
we
let me give you the
morons.
recipe.
So no, well, hang on. We morons. So how do I know what is the right speed and what are the right knives?
Well, you need to look at the number one. You need to buy a quality product. That's I mean, you need to go out. If you go and want to buy a blender, you need to think quality. And if you think quality, the first thing comes to mind is normally Russell Hobbs, most
Okay,
definitely. They're in a great price range. They're good quality, and everything's perfect. Then, of course, you're going to have to look at the wattage as well, how strong that motor is. And that's very important. Is to buy a blender with like 500 watts is like buying a hand vacuum cleaner and you want to vacuum a 500 square meter house. It's
okay,
just not going to happen. So
right.
it's got to have a couple of thousand wattage on that blender motor, and that gives you longevity and it gives you the power for that blade, that speed that blade is really running, and that's so important. That's so important. You
Okay.
get some really really cheap blenders, but you do like one of those recipes, and they most probably blow up because they just can't handle that speed and that pressure what it requires to make a homemade nutty butter. You know.
Okay. Right, now let's get on with the recipe.
Cool. All right. So literally what you basically need is a very simple recipe. So you take like 2 cups of roasted almonds. I like to roast them. So you take just your almonds, you take them out the packet, and you just put them in a pan and you fry them off a little bit dry with no oil, nothing. Just roast them so it gives all the aromas. About a quarter teaspoon of salt, a quarter teaspoon of ground cinnamon, a half a teaspoon of vanilla essence, and about 2 tablespoons of honey or maple syrup. I prefer honey; it's just the healthy version of it, but maple syrup will just do the job. So basically, as I said, you just roast the onions in a high, on a dry pan on a fairly medium heat, and you just put those almonds into the Russell Hobbs blender, and then you blend it until it's creamy, and then you will make a hell of a noise. So don't make sure you put the lid on the blender. It's very important. Otherwise, you're gonna have almonds all over the kitchen. So just put the lid on the blender and it just pulse it. You got a pulse function in it, and you
Yeah.
pulse it, go vroom, 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 like a motorbike. You start it
Yeah.
up, and then you do it continuously, and it become nice and creamy. You know. The almonds will they flour like clumps, and a ball. They have a couple of it comes out like a ball, and then you just put it on the side of the blender. You just keep on pushing it down, and you just keep on pushing that pulse button, and then you just add in all the other ingredients, and then like the salt and the cinnamon and the vanilla essence, and you just keep on pulsing it. So in that almonds, there's enough oil inside it to make it nice and creamy. If it's too dry, you just add a couple of maybe a half a teaspoon or a teaspoon of olive oil with it, just to make it nice and dry. Because remember, I like to roast my almonds beforehand, so a little bit of oil is going to come out of the normal straightforward almonds, the one you get out of the packet. But that's just to increase the flavor. So just if it's too dry, just add a couple of drops or half a teaspoon of olive oil in there, and that will do it. And then you just put that in a container, you keep it in the fridge, or you keep it out on ambient temperature, and you just like put it on your bread, or like I like it on a nice little sandwich bread. It's just beautiful. And as I said right in the beginning, I use almonds, but you can use, of course, peanuts. You can use a variety of different nuts. There's such a great variety of nuts in South Africa. You can even do it with chestnuts if you like. So yeah, there's a great variety, but what you've got to look at, you've got to make sure you've got a good quality blender, and I can only recommend from my side, Russell Hobbs is just the best.
Okay, it sounds so simple that it actually makes me worry.
It is. No, it is. It is very simple. Like I said, my recipes, all of them just like made for everybody. An executive chef doesn't even look at recipes like this because they just buy the stuff in. But the home cook, like a home gourmets, and that's the one we're trying to talk to. That's simple recipes, and I'm just trying to instill some confidence in them that it's easy to make simple things like this. And it's it sounds difficult, but it's not. It's so simple. Yeah. It's like 1, 2, 3, 5 ingredients. 5 ingredients and 1 appliance. That's all you need. And it takes you 10 minutes, 15 minutes, if at all. That's with cleaning up.
Yeah. Good one, Chef. Well, thank you very much. The recipe and all the details will be on the chefmlk.co.za site. And thank you very much for joining us once again on Mansfield Today. And thank you to Russell Hobbs for bringing this feature to you, along with Chef MLK right here on Mansfield Today. Until next time, goodbye.